Hello, and welcome back to History's Hidden Weird, the podcast where we dig up the stories that history textbooks left out, brushed over, or just flat out didn't believe. I'm your host, Quinn Strange. Today, we venture into the curious collision of science, mortality, and the afterlife. Imagine a man so determined to prove that the human soul exists, and that it has weight, that he would watch people die, scale in hand, hoping to catch the soul mid-flight. This is the strange and ghostly tale of Dr. Duncan MacDougall, the physician who tried to weigh the soul, and came up with 21 grams. We're in the early 1900s. The world is in the throes of scientific wonder. Electricity is reshaping civilization. X-rays are letting us see the inside of our bodies. And spiritualism, seances, ghosts, mediums, is all the rage. This was a time when science and spirituality weren't always at odds. In fact, many doctors, scientists, and even inventors dabbled in the otherworldly. You had Thomas Edison reportedly working on a machine to speak to the dead. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, was an enthusiastic spiritualist. Enter Dr. Duncan MacDougall, a physician from Haverhill, Massachusetts. Not a household name, but for a brief, weird moment in 1907, he captured the public imagination with one strange question. If the soul is real, could it have weight? And more importantly, could you measure it? Now, MacDougall wasn't just musing over this in his journal. He was serious. He devised an experiment, clinical and cold, that would try to scientifically prove the existence of the soul. His plan? Weigh a human being at the exact moment of death. He built a specially designed bed scale, highly sensitive, able to detect changes down to a few grams. He placed terminally ill patients, people already close to death, onto this scale. Then he waited. MacDougall chose 6 patients suffering from tuberculosis, a disease that caused a slow, predictable decline. He believed this would give him time to position the patient and observe any sudden weight loss at the time of death. And according to him, when death came, something strange happened. In the instant the patients died, the scale registered a sudden drop in weight. Not a lot, but consistently around 21 grams. And with that, MacDougall declared, the soul weighs 21 grams. Now before we float off into the metaphysical, let's step back for a second. Even in 1907, this was controversial. MacDougall's methodology was, to put it kindly, shaky. His sample size was tiny, only 6 human subjects, and only one of them actually lost the full 21 grams. And then there were the dogs. Yes. MacDougall repeated the experiment on 15 dogs. Why? Because he believed, in true turn-of-the-century arrogance, that animals didn't have souls. And according to his records, none of the dogs lost any weight at death. MacDougall saw this as proof, humans lost weight at death, dogs didn't. Ergo, humans had souls. Dogs didn't. But critics were quick to pounce. They pointed out the scale was primitive. Room temperature, moisture, last breaths, even bowel release, all could account for slight weight loss. And those dog experiments? It turned out MacDougall may have euthanized some of the dogs himself, for science. Not exactly great ethics. And then there's the cherry on top. MacDougall later tried to photograph the soul leaving the body. Unsurprisingly, that didn't go well. Despite the flaws, or perhaps because of them, MacDougall's experiment took on a strange life of its own. Newspapers picked it up immediately. Headlines like "Soul has weight, physician thinks" spread across the country. The public was fascinated. Science seemed to confirm what religion had long promised, the soul was real. And now, it had a mass. The number 21, modest, mysterious, stuck in the collective imagination. It inspired poems. It showed up in spiritualist literature. And nearly a century later, in 2003, it became the title of the gritty Sean Penn film 21 Grams, a movie built around the metaphor of what we lose at the moment of death. MacDougall faded into obscurity. He didn't publish further research. His follow-up attempts were largely dismissed. But that one claim, that the soul might weigh 21 grams, refused to die. So, what are we really talking about here? Are we talking about a forgotten doctor who discovered something profound? Or are we talking about one man's desperate, flawed attempt to measure the unmeasurable? Science today is firm. There is no credible evidence that anything leaves the body at death beyond heat, gases, and fluids. The 21 grams was likely the result of measurement error, confirmation bias, and wishful thinking. And yet, there's a deeper truth here. MacDougall's story isn't just about whether the soul has weight. It's about our need to believe that it might. That we are more than meat and math. That death isn't the end. Maybe that's why this story, over a century old, half forgotten, scientifically debunked, still resonates. Because sometimes, the weirdest parts of history are the ones that live on in whispers, folklore, and the aching human need to matter. Dr. Duncan MacDougall didn't change science. But he touched something older, stranger, and more enduring, our longing to know what happens when we die. Was it science? Not quite. Was it weird? Absolutely. And for that reason, it belongs here, with us. This has been History's Hidden Weird. I'm Quinn Strange. Thanks for listening. Stay curious. Stay kind. Stay wonderfully weird.